What do you think a superhero looks like? Someone who can fly and wears a colorful cape, or maybe someone can lift a car? Well, think again. Sometimes a superhero could also be a tiny puppy, a speedy cat, or even a parrot that you keep at home. If you need proof, let us show you. But before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories. Cats have long been known as creatures that fear dogs, but Tara, the brave feline in this video, seems to have defied all odds. In Bakersfield, California, a heartwarming incident unfolded when a young boy, only 4 years old, was under attack by a dog in his front yard. Before the situation could escalate, Tara, the family cat, sprang into action. With unwavering courage, she confronted the aggressive dog, protecting her human companion. After successfully driving the dog away, Tara returned to her young owner, ensuring his safety. What in the world is going on here? Why is the dog afraid of Tara? Shouldn't it be the other way around? All right, let's look at this picture. And this one too. Now, imagine 18 or more of them slashing at your eyes, thin facial skin or vulnerable belly with the potential to blind you. Even the smallest cat can inflict deep, painful cuts and scratches. An aggressive 20-pound or larger cat defending its kittens could cause permanent, irreversible damage. Nevertheless, dogs have an instinct to chase small fleeing animals, while fleeing is a cat's natural behavior. However, if a dog has been attacked by a cat before, some dogs may become afraid of cats. I'm betting this dog has had a run-in with a feisty cat in the past. It's clear that with enough love, even animals can overcome their natural fears. Tara is not only adorable, but also a brave protector. No wonder cats are so beloved. Like this video if you're a cat lover too. Another tale of bravery from our four-legged superheroes involves a commonly misunderstood friend, the American pit bull terrier. Known for their muscular build and strong presence, pit bulls are often misjudged as aggressive or dangerous. However, in this story, one such pit bull proved these stereotypes wrong. Angela, a Florida resident, was leaving a playground with her young child in Port Charlotte. It was supposed to be a typical day filled with the joy of watching her child play, but things took a terrifying turn when a stranger approached her in the parking lot. The man, with malicious intent, pulled out a knife and threatened Angela, leaving her terrified and helpless. She was caught off guard and in a state of panic, unsure of what to do to protect herself and her child. As fear started creeping in, a pit bull appeared out of nowhere, like a guardian angel in dog form. Without hesitation, the dog bravely placed itself between her and the attacker. The pit bull began growling and barking loudly. The menacing growls and barks, along with the dog's powerful presence, were enough to scare the attacker into fleeing the scene. Perhaps the attacker knew that the bite force of an American pit bull is about 305 pounds per square inch, strong enough to break a cow's thigh bone with a single bite. Realizing the danger of facing such a powerful animal, the attacker decided that retreat was the best option. After the attacker fled, Angela could finally breathe a sigh of relief. She was immensely grateful for the unexpected yet much-needed intervention. When animal control officers arrived at the scene, they were astonished by the story they heard. They quickly realized that this brave dog had never met Angela or her child before, yet it acted with incredible protective instincts and loyalty. The story of this pit bull is not only about bravery, but also a powerful testament to the love, loyalty, and protective instincts that animals can have for humans. This shows that these so-called dangerous dogs can be much kinder and more heroic than some of your human friends, right? You've probably heard that black cats are bad luck, right? Well, get ready to have your mind blown. We're about to introduce you to Parrot, a super smart black cat who's going to change the way you think about these mysterious felines. Believe us, this is one cat you don't want to miss. In a heart-stopping incident in Cornwall, England, an 83-year-old woman had taken a tumble down a steep, 70-foot ravine. Just when she thought no one would find her, a miracle happened. Her loyal black cat, Parrot, had been with her all along and witnessed the entire ordeal. The little feline's frantic meows drew the attention of nearby farmers, who quickly called for a rescue team. Soon after, a rescue team arrived and pulled her to safety, taking her straight to the hospital. She made a full recovery and Parrot was hailed as a hero, as it would have been much more difficult to find the elderly woman without the brave cat's help. Black cats are just regular cats wearing Halloween costumes all year round. So, don't be scared. Give them a high five, or a belly rub, or a piece of tuna. They'll probably love you for it. Dogs are not only our most faithful companions, but also surprisingly talented actors. Their keen senses, protective nature, and ability to perform make them truly unique. In addition, they also have excellent acting talent, like the dog Willow. A peaceful afternoon was disrupted when a stranger suddenly entered the house. A Great Dane quickly noticed the intruder, but his friendly demeanor might have fooled you into thinking he was the homeowner. In reality, the real owner was still in the kitchen, completely unaware of the danger. The dog's friendly act had even convinced the stranger that he had nothing to worry about. When the homeowner finally noticed the intruder, she rushed out. Immediately, the dog transformed. Switching into protection mode, he clamped his jaws onto the stranger's clothes, growling, "Oh, I thought we were becoming friends." He even bit the intruder's collar to keep him from escaping. Terrified, the thief fled the scene. The thief was later arrested and convicted of second-degree burglary. This might be the last time he trusts a dog. If we had a Best Actor of the Year award for animals, I would definitely nominate this dog. What kind of awards do you think a cat could win? Best-looking cat? Chonk of the Year? Those sound great, but have you ever heard of a cat being awarded for saving their human's life? Now, that's a real champion. Meet Willow, Amanda Jameson's feline companion who was a finalist in the Moggy Marvels category of the National Cat Protection Cat Awards in 2023. One ordinary night in the UK, the over 51-year-old Liverpool resident, Mrs. Jameson, fell unconscious after going to bed with dangerously low blood sugar levels. Sensing something was amiss, her beloved cat, Willow, became increasingly agitated. As you know, a cat's senses are far more acute than a human's. They can detect prey incredibly quickly, recognize the scents of their friends and family, and even read the emotions of other cats by smelling their faces. Therefore, it's entirely possible that Willow could smell something was off about her human. In the midst of the emergency, she ran to her owner's husband, 57-year-old Ray Sherwood, who was watching TV, and bit his leg to wake him. After he awoke, Willow led him upstairs where he found Amanda unresponsive to his calls. He immediately called for an ambulance. Thanks to Willow's quick thinking, Amanda received timely medical attention. This is why we should have a pet, a companion who is always on guard, or maybe just to annoy us, but having a friend like that is better than nothing. Let's leave Australia and head over to the United States for some amazing stories. In this video, we'll discover why taking your furry friend for a walk is such a great idea. This story showcases the incredible help a dog can provide to its owner. 7 months ago, in East Bay, Michigan, a man named Michigan was out walking with his dog on what he thought was thick enough ice. But it wasn't. Suddenly, he fell into a freezing cold hole in the ice. His dog was panicking but didn't know how to help, unable to pull him out. Luckily, someone spotted the situation from a distance and called the police. Officer Bennett was quickly dispatched to the scene, where he saw the man struggling in the icy water with Ruby, his loyal dog. After several failed rescue attempts due to the thin ice, the situation grew dire. In just a few more minutes, the man would have frozen. Thinking quickly, the officer called Ruby over and attached a rescue disc to her collar for her to bring to her owner. With her quick instincts, Ruby successfully completed the rescue, saving her owner's life. Who would have thought that after 16 minutes trapped in freezing water, a man would walk away unharmed? Thanks to the quick thinking of a police officer and the unwavering loyalty of his dog, Ruby, the man made a full recovery. Ruby was given plenty of treats, and her owner learned a valuable lesson. As we mentioned in a previous video, cats have a miraculous nose, and their sense of smell is very sharp. Generally, a house cat's sense of smell is 14 times stronger than that of a human. The number of olfactory cells in a cat's nose is also twice that of a human, allowing them to detect scents that people cannot perceive. Thanks to this extraordinary ability, a cat named Schnauzy saved its owner. Around 2 a.m. on a freezing cold October night in 2007, while Trudy Guy was fast asleep, her schnauzer suddenly climbed onto her chest and started tapping her nose repeatedly with his paw. "What the heck are you doing?" she thought to herself. At first, she dismissed his behavior as playful mischief, but Schnauzer's protective instincts were urging him to wake her up. He continued to tap, and eventually his persistence paid off. The taps on her nose roused Guy from her sleep. She noticed Schnauzy sniffing at her nose as if trying to communicate something. Sensing something was wrong, she woke her husband, and together, they quickly discovered a dangerous gas leak coming from a pipe above the bathroom. Gas containing carbon monoxide, it is a highly toxic gas that can be harmful to the human body, especially the lungs. We all know that red blood cells carry oxygen, but when carbon monoxide enters the lungs, it displaces oxygen from the red blood cells and takes its place, leading to a lack of oxygen in the body. This can cause drowsiness, unconsciousness, and eventually death. Fortunately, they were able to detect the danger in time, grab their little cat, and escape the house. They then called for help. After fixing the problem, the rescue team told them that if they had turned on the heater during that cold night, it was very likely that the whole house would have caught fire, like a scene from a Michael Bay movie. Sharks are definitely scary creatures. There are hundreds of shark attacks every year. Even though they've attacked humans before, we're not exactly on their menu. They just get a little confused sometimes and think we're yummy seals or something. Once upon a time, there was a story that left people both terrified and feeling incredibly lucky for one man. The person in question was surfer Todd Endress, who faced a terrifying attack from a massive great white shark, estimated to be 12 to 15 feet long. The brutal attack left him seriously injured, with deep wounds on his back and legs. The shark's assault tore into his body, but thankfully, his surfboard may have saved him from being swallowed whole. It's a pretty rare event because great white sharks don't usually attack humans. In fact, statistics show that sharks attack fewer than 100 people a year, and only a small number of those result in serious injuries or fatalities. Fun fact, you're more likely to be killed by a bee sting or a lightning strike than by a shark by hundreds of times. Talk about a plot twist. Just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, a pod of friendly dolphins decided to be Endress's personal bodyguards. Thanks to his new finned friends, he was able to paddle to shore and recover. Nearly 4 months later, Endress was back in the water and on his surfboard at the very same spot where he had almost lost his life. He may go on to set many more records, but one thing's for sure, shark will forever be a word he'll never forget. We're pretty sure dolphin is up there too. If you're already familiar with our four-legged heroes, let me introduce you to another tiny superhero with a pair of wings and beautiful green fur. The story began in 2014 at the home of Anton Nguyen, who currently resides in Kangaroo Point, Inner Brisbane, Australia. One Tuesday night, as he was fast asleep, a fire suddenly broke out in his house. There had been a loud explosion beforehand, which woke up Eric, Anton's pet parrot. As soon as he realized the danger, the parrot began to call out his owner's name repeatedly, "Anton, Anton." The sound of the parrot, combined with the smell of smoke, woke Anton up. Confused, he grabbed Eric and looked out the back of the house, where he saw several fires burning and spreading. Immediately, he quickly left the house with his parrot. As soon as he was safe, he called the fire department and they arrived to control the fire at 3:30 a.m. local time. Fortunately, no one was injured in the incident. Parrots are not only capable of imitating human speech, but they can also learn hundreds of words, understand their meanings, recognize objects by name, and even count. So, thinking of getting a parrot? Just make sure to teach it your name first.
To introduce yourself?
Here's yet another great example of why you should have a dog at home. A man from southern Alberta was stuck in the mud for 2 days and was rescued thanks to his loyal dog. A mysterious incident unfolded in Tabor on Thursday morning when police were called to the north side of the sugar plant. Reports of a large menacing dog sent officers racing to the scene, but the canine culprit had vanished. Hours later, a man and his dog, Jack, were found injured, victims of a vicious attack. When police returned to the scene, they made a strange discovery: an Akita mix lying on a nearby embankment, surrounded by eerie sounds. A search of the area led authorities to a shocking discovery: a 61-year-old man named Alberta, trapped and alone in a muddy ditch. He had been missing for 2 days. But the most amazing part of the story was the loyal companion who had stayed by his side. Well, they don't call him hero for nothing. He and his partner in crime fighting, Tora, were the real heroes in this story. We started this video with cats, so let's end it with cats. Cats have incredibly quick reflexes and are agile, which is why they can defend themselves against dangerous animals like snakes. But in this case, they've protected their owners from creatures much larger than themselves. Can you believe a cat can actually scare off a crocodile? This video was accidentally filmed 13 years ago, so it's pretty old, but you might not have seen it. A big crocodile was approaching a little boy. The boy wasn't listening and was playing near the water. Dinner is served, guys, the crocodile must have thought. But don't worry, we have a superhero cat here. If you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, would you believe that the crocodile didn't attack the cat? Another cat even came and played at the edge of the lake, while the boy could only hide behind a tree. They looked at each other for a while, and then the crocodile dived into the water and left. Those cats were like, "Oh, you again?" They just sat there, chilling, like it was no big deal. Maybe they're the real rulers of this place and crocodiles are just their daily annoyance. If you can't afford to invest in a sophisticated fire alarm system, you might want to consider adopting a cat. Don't be skeptical about the idea that a small cat could actually save you from a potentially devastating fire. Believe it or not, they can. Josh Ornberg and Letitia Kovalovsky, a couple residing in the northwestern suburb of Wonder Lake near Chicago, experienced firsthand how their 13-year-old cat became their unexpected hero during a house fire. In the early hours of a Monday morning, as the couple was peacefully sleeping on the sofa in their living room, their loyal cat, Baby, sprang into action. The cat's persistent meowing and nudging roused Ornberg from his sleep. "What's wrong with you?" And he noticed a burning smell. He looked around and saw smoke filling the house from a fire in the bedroom. Ornberg immediately called 911 after failing to extinguish the fire with a home extinguisher. The fire department quickly controlled the blaze, but the damage was significant. Thankfully, both Ornberg and his wife, along with their cat and their other dog, made it out safely. However, they were heartbroken to lose many of their belongings in the fire. With twins due in 2 months, they were starting from scratch. Their beloved cat, Baby, went missing shortly after the fire. Fortunately, Ornberg's co-worker found Baby in a trap he had set and held onto the kitten until Ornberg could pick him up. A wave of fear washed over him as he realized he had almost lost his hero. Can you swim for 10 minutes straight? Or maybe even 30? Well, meet Adam Walker, a man who swam for a mind-boggling 8 hours and 36 minutes. That's right, 8 hours and 36 minutes. He's taking on the challenge of swimming across 7 of the world's toughest oceans to raise money for the whale and dolphin conservation charity. While swimming across the Cook Strait, Adam Walker had a very unexpected visitor, a shark. The shark was circling him, probably thinking, human, that looks mouth-watering. But just when things were looking grim, a pod of dolphins swooped in and formed a protective circle around Adam. Seriously, dolphins? Why do you guys always have to ruin my fun? A shark might not fear a single dolphin, but a whole group? That's a whole other story. Thanks to his new finned friends, Adam was able to complete his 8-hour, 36-minute swim. It just goes to show that there's safety in numbers, even in the ocean. Thanks to that, Adam's video swimming with dolphins went viral, and he raised thousands of pounds for charity. His goal is to set up swim clubs to keep kids safe in the water and inspire people worldwide to go for their goals. Wouldn't that be awesome? If you can't afford a human nurse, get yourself a tiny, furry, pet-loving one. You never know when your feline friend might save your life. While you're sleeping, anything can happen, and you'll need someone to look out for you when you can't. A 30-year-old woman from Wisconsin named Amy Jung rewarded her 21-pound cat, Pudding, for saving her from a diabetic seizure just hours after she adopted him from an animal shelter in 2012. On the night Jung brought Pudding home, she had been living with diabetes since she was 4 years old. That night, she went to bed around 9:30 p.m. About 90 minutes later, she suddenly started having a diabetic seizure while her son was fast asleep. Just when it seemed like no one would be there to help her, Pudding, the newly adopted kitten, jumped onto Jung's chest. When he couldn't wake her up, he began pawing at her face and nibbling her nose. Startled awake, Jung managed to rouse her son, Ethan, who was sleeping in the same room. However, Ethan was fast asleep and didn't hear her. Undeterred, Pudding leaped onto Ethan and started to paw at his face until he woke up. Seeing his mother seizing, Ethan immediately sprang into action. Thanks to Pudding's quick thinking, Jung's life was saved. I wish my cat would be more of a morning person. A cat alarm clock would be great. Imagine the surprise when police arrive at a house and discover that the emergency 911 call was made not by a human, but by a cat. This extraordinary event actually took place in January 2006 and highlights the unexpected heroism of our feline friends. When the 911 call was received, there was no voice on the other end of the line, which led to an immediate response from local police officers. When police entered the house, they found a cat lying next to a phone on the living room floor. The cat's owner, Gary Rosheisen, was lying on the floor after falling out of his wheelchair. Officers rushed to help Rosheisen to his feet, and he said that his cat, Tommy, must have pressed the right buttons to call 911. It's a strange and wonderful story, isn't it? Rosheisen explained that he couldn't get up due to the pain from osteoporosis and small strokes that affected his balance. He also wasn't wearing a medical alert necklace and couldn't reach a cord above his bed that would summon a nurse. Luckily, the 911 call was made by a cat he had gotten 3 years ago to help lower his blood pressure and keep him company. He had tried training the cat to dial 911, not sure if the training would pay off, but now he was 100% certain it had. The phone in the living room was always on the floor and had 12 small buttons, including speed dial for 911 right above the speakerphone button. Maybe the cat had memorized it from watching his owner dial it so many times. I wonder if there's a course for cats to learn how to order pizza. Orange cats have a mysterious allure that sets them apart from other felines. They're like the enigmatic characters of the cat world. Jack, a cat in West Milford, New Jersey, in June 2006, had a spectacular chase against a black bear. What's worth noting here is that the cat, which only weighs 15 pounds, was not pleased when he discovered a bear invading his backyard. Immediately, Jack confronted the dangerous black bear. But the situation was different from what you thought. It caused the black bear to hastily climb up the neighbor's tree to hide. That's right, you heard right. Jack stood under that tree, growling and guarding the bear, trapped there for about 15 minutes. Then, when the bear tried to escape, Jack still did not let go. He chased and continued to force the bear to climb another tree to hide. He doesn't want anyone in his yard, Jack's owner, Donna Dickey, said. After Dickey called Jack inside, the bear was able to run back into his forest. It seems that cats have a special mission to protect children. Children are always curious and often mischievous, climbing and exploring. In this video, a baby is fascinated by the balcony view and tries to climb up. Notice the cat beside the baby, which keeps a close watch and prevents the baby from reaching the railing. When the baby tries to climb higher, the cat quickly intervenes, ensuring the baby stays safe. The baby eventually goes inside, no longer trying to climb. Could these cats have a mission to protect all children? Russian cats are used to the cold weather and long winters, developing thick and warm fur. But more importantly, they have warm hearts. Just like Masha, a stray cat from Obninsk. Masha was a stray cat, wandering around an apartment complex in Obninsk. She was looked after by the local residents, one of whom was Irina Lavrova. Irina heard Masha meowing loudly while she was taking out the trash. Masha was usually very calm and friendly, so Irina thought she might have hurt herself. Imagine her shock when she found Masha huddled over a newborn baby in a box. Clearly, her maternal instincts had kicked in, and she wanted to protect the child. Someone had left diapers and baby food in the box, but it's a mystery why the baby was abandoned in such a dangerous situation with temperatures as low as 2 degrees Celsius. The baby was taken to the hospital and is now safe and healthy. Masha might just be a neighborhood cat, but she's now a local hero. Everyone in the neighborhood is so proud of her and is showering her with her favorite treats. It seems like Masha is being treated like royalty, and quite frankly, she deserves every bit of it. It only takes toddlers about half a second to get into trouble. If you blink, they could be on the roof, on the car, or in this case, in striking distance of a rattlesnake. Little Booker West, a 1-year-old visiting his grandparents in Colorado, was innocently playing in the backyard, of course, under adult supervision. But wait, there's more. A rattlesnake, hiding in the tall grass, was ready to strike. Can you believe it? Their little 2.2-kilogram Chihuahua, Zoe, was the hero of the day. She jumped right in between the snake and the toddler, protecting her human. And a battle ensued. Zoe took the brunt of the attack. You've probably heard of rattlesnakes. They're on the top 10 list of the world's deadliest snakes. Their venom can stop your heart in its tracks if you're not treated quickly. It spreads through your blood, destroying blood vessels and causing internal bleeding. Booker West's grandpa ran out when he heard the dog barking and found Zoe looking pretty rough. Thankfully, she got anti-venom treatment and lived to see another day and probably lots of treats. On a chilly morning, A woman heard strange barking coming from her backyard, mixed with faint human cries. She quickly called the police. When they arrived, York County Sheriff's deputies followed the persistent barking to a nearby stream. There, they found Samantha, a Labrador retriever, barking her head off. While walking near a wooded area in Leamington, Maine, an 84-year-old blind man had fallen into the icy stream. Samantha had tried her best to pull him out, but couldn't. In a moment of canine brilliance, she decided to bark until someone came to help. When he was rescued, the man was suffering from hypothermia. His body temperature had dropped significantly. Oh, it's just cold water, you might think. What's the big deal? Well, let me tell you, hypothermia is no joke. When your body temperature drops below 95 degrees Fahrenheit, your heart, nervous system, and other organs can't function properly. Symptoms start to show when your body temperature is between 35 and 32 degrees Celsius, like shivering and increased heart rate. But once you drop below 28 degrees Celsius, things get really serious. You become unconscious, your heart rate slows down, and your body becomes stiff like a corpse. Luckily, the police were able to pull the man out of the icy water before it was too late, thanks to Samantha's quick thinking. Have you ever seen those trainers swimming with dolphins? It's so cool, just like Aquaman. Dolphins in the wild are just as friendly, but remember, there's more to the ocean than just dolphins. Let's not end up like that guy below who got into trouble trying to swim with them. A British tourist had a terrifying experience during a trip to the Gulf of Aqaba. As their boat neared the Sinai Peninsula, the captain stopped so passengers could watch a pod of playful dolphins. 3 of them decided to jump in and swim with the friendly creatures. But one of the swimmers stayed underwater longer than the others. Unfortunately, he soon found himself face to face with a dangerous shark. The shark bit into him, and other sharks began to circle, putting him in a life-threatening situation. Can you believe how good a shark's sense of smell is? It's hundreds of times better than ours. Their noses are just for smelling, not breathing. They breathe through their gills. They can detect the tiniest amounts of stuff in the water. That's what sharks can do, and the smell of his blood was like a dinner bell to them. In that life-or-death moment, 3 dolphins bravely positioned themselves between the man and the sharks. They used their tails and fins to create a violent splash, forming a protective barrier. This bold action drove the sharks away and protected the man until rescue boats arrived. Richardson was later taken to a military hospital and made a full recovery. Dolphins usually avoid direct confrontations with sharks, so I'm still puzzled as to why they would risk their lives like that. All right, give me 3 medals right now. Whales are not the only marine animals showing kindness toward humans. Dolphins, their fellow species, are also heroes of the seas. An Italian family will forever be grateful to Filippo, the dolphin who saved their son's life in 2000. The incident happened when 14-year-old Davide Cicci was out on a boat with his dad in the Adriatic Sea. In a blink of an eye, the boy fell into the water. The scary part was, Davide couldn't swim, and his dad had no idea he was in trouble. I guess he was going for the sink or swim approach to parenting, like some grandfather teaching his grandchild how to survive in the wild. All right, back to the story. In this critical moment, Filippo, the intelligent dolphin, sensed the situation and immediately swam to the boy's rescue. The dolphin used its nose to push the boy toward the boat, helping him reach the boat's edge safely. Thanks to this, the boy's father managed to grab his son and pull him out of the water, avoiding a potential tragedy. Filippo had lived off the coast of Manfredonia since being separated from a pod of migrating dolphins. If you don't know why dolphins save people, watch this video. Marine researcher Dr. Giovanna Barbieri commented, "Filippo seems to have no fear of humans. I am not surprised that he did something as extraordinary as saving a human being." After completing his brave rescue mission, Filippo quietly swam away, leaving behind a miraculous story and deep gratitude in the hearts of the family. As for the dad, well, let's just say he probably got an earful from his wife that night. In British Columbia, where cougars are pretty common, run-ins with these big cats are rare, but can be super dangerous. Even though they might be a little smaller than humans, their sneaky nature and sharp teeth make them a serious threat, especially to a small 11-year-old boy. In 2010, a golden retriever stepped in to protect a young boy from a cougar that was stalking him in their wooded backyard. Angel, the golden retriever, lived up to her name by bravely fighting off the cougar and protecting the boy until he was safe. The cougar was later subdued by a police officer who arrived on the scene. However, when the boy pulled the cougar off Angel, it seemed that the brave dog had succumbed to her injuries. Amazingly, the brave golden retriever suddenly stood up, walked over to her human, gave him a big sniff to make sure he was okay, and then sat down beside him. The heroic dog was later treated at Sardis Veterinary Hospital and made a full recovery. We bet Angel's gonna brag about her cougar-conquering adventure to all the other dogs at the park. Adopting poor cats not only helps save their lives, sometimes it also saves our lives. Inky was adopted by Glenn Kruger after she was discovered left on a local resident's porch. He was only 3 months old at the time and severely malnourished. Glenn Kruger took good care of the cat and devotedly raised it, bringing it back to health. Glenn did not expect that this would save his life. That paid off. On January 23, 2009, Glenn went to the basement to turn off the wood stove. When he returned upstairs, he slipped and fell down the basement stairs, breaking his arm and fracturing a vertebrae. The temperature was now about 5 degrees Celsius. Everyone else in the house was sleeping in the room and couldn't hear his cries for help, except Inky, who was now 7 years old. The cat stared intently, and strangely enough, Glenn had told Inky to go get his wife, Brenda. I wondered how on earth a cat could understand such a request, but even more surprising was that Inky actually went to get her. The cat jumped up and scratched hard at the door. Brenda woke up, thinking the cat wanted to go outside, and then noticed her husband at the bottom of the basement stairs. Glenn was left permanently disabled after the accident, his neck unable to turn anymore. But at least he survived, thanks to Inky's clever actions. Now, why don't you show this video to your pet and let them learn how to be your protector too? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.